Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the numerology and the energies for both the collective and the individual life path numbers for June 2022. Before we get into the forecast, I just want to let you know that for those of you who have been asking me to bring back the numerology one question readings, those are now available once again on my website if that's something that interests you. It's an opportunity for if you have a burning question that you just want a quick, concise response to. It's a great, affordable option for that. So you can just book some time with me on my website. The information is in the description box below for that. I look forward to seeing you there. And of course, if you would like a more in-depth reading, those are also available, or a coaching session. Those are available as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the forecast. And of course, I will mention that this is a general reading. So again, if you would like a personalized reading, please book some time with me. All right, so June 2022 is a 12-3 universal cycle. And so typically the energy of the 3 brings with it this big explosive energy of creation, networking, social events, travel, recognition. However, with the strong influencing energy of the 12, we can feel that energy sort of muted slightly, and the focus shifts more towards reevaluation, changing, or sort of reversal of a creative endeavor or life experience. This can be a period of waiting, letting things take care of themselves now through surrender and acceptance without the need for force or control. So under this 12-3 energy, a change in perspective will serve us well, allowing the cycle to work for us rather than trying to overly dominate something. Observe, reflect, meditate, repeat. There is a lot of sort of serenity associated with this energy if we choose not to fight it. You may find that new information or clarity now brings reversals in what we thought we once fully knew. I'm actually facing this myself at the moment, so this is somewhat personal. You may need to make big compromises now on long-term goals or visions in order to fully appreciate and experience what is trying to come in for you right now. With this vibration, success is achieved through acceptance and understanding. The more flexible that we can be with long-term goals and expectations, the more fulfillment we will have within our current right now experience. So try not to fight these forces, but rather flow with them, and the results will be much more satisfying. Try to stay very present within the now and pay attention to sort of your mindset now. Are you self-sabotaging or supporting yourself on this journey? So staying within or coming back to the present moment and doing so often can assist us in seeing very clearly what is actually working and what isn't, what needs your attention right now and what doesn't, and what is a rational fear versus an irrational fear, and what needs to actually be overcome within this moment versus allowing something to unfold further in order to see how it actually plays out. So trips of any kind are very much supported under this energy, especially ones that are solely for enjoyment and exploration or rest and rejuvenation. This is a great time for vacations, both near and far. Ultimately, use this gift, this energy, as an opportunity to see things as they really are and not as they appear to be. Bring the conflicting polarities into some level of perspective now within your mind and create much more harmony within your environment by recognizing the reality of what you are actually currently working with and move from that space. This is a great cycle to pause and observe to gain greater clarity. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a closer, deeper look at each individual life path number for June. Life path number 4, my beautiful life path number 4s. I'm also a 4, so I'm right there with you in this energy. Okay, so I pulled an animal spirit card for us for June, and we got rattlesnake spirit. And so rattlesnake's message is the experiences that you're presently going through are an initiation into fulfilling your purpose. I'm going to repeat that because I don't know about you all, but I do need to hear this message this month. The experiences that you're presently going through are an initiation into fulfilling your purpose. And so rattlesnake or snake energy in general can often signify sort of healing energy. So there may be some things this month that you need to release like energetically as far as at your expectations and sort of heal the energy around that, like heal yourself around it. So there may be some things that you had expected to turn out one way and they're actually turning out a totally different way, but there's a purpose behind that. And so I think the more that we can sort of allow and move with that energy and sort of heal or grieve for our expectations that we held, because there's significance to that. I mean, it's a lot of more or less a mind game, right? Like we set these expectations, we contribute towards achieving those expectations, and if things don't turn out the way that we expect them to or had hoped that they would, there is a feeling of remorse or grief or loss or whatever associated with that. And that's a very real feeling. And so I do think it's important with rattlesnake spirit coming in to understand that though it may feel like we're taking steps backwards to take more steps forward, or we're having to reevaluate or whatever the case may be, I think it's really important to remember that the experiences that we're presently going through are an initiation into fulfilling our purpose. So there is a purpose behind it, right? There's a reason behind it. We may not know that reason, we may not see it right away, but it's all working in our favor. Like we did not set ourselves up for failure coming to this planet. Like our soul knows what it wants to achieve and it's going to work very hard to achieve that. The universe is going to co-conspire to, co-create with us and to assist us in our purpose. The ego gets involved and tries to overly control a situation. And then when things don't turn out the way the ego expects for it to, there's this feeling of loss, or sometimes we can see that as failure, or we use that to judge ourselves, or whatever the case may be. And so I just think that there's this very strong energy coming in for fours this month that's asking us to be very gentle with ourselves, to understand that sometimes we have to take some steps backwards to take more legitimate or more fulfilling steps forward. So anytime that there's some kind of a detour or a change in direction, it's not a failure. It is simply an opportunity to step more aligned in purpose. Even if it doesn't make sense to you in the moment, even if it's totally different than what you were anticipating or expecting, there is a rhyme to the reason, or reason to the rhyme, whatever the saying is. Anywho, so with snake spirit coming in, I just think it's really important that we are very gentle and understanding with ourselves, especially this month, when we see things come in and they look a little bit different or a lot different than what we were expecting them to, or what we were moving towards, or what we thought we were moving towards. And so if that happens with you and you do have to change directions in a pretty dramatic way, allow yourself that grieving process, right? We just had a huge full moon eclipse in the sign of Scorpio, which is, all about going deeper and healing those deeper, darker shadows and emotions and transformations and all of that. And so very strong healing energy for the collective, especially, just for the collective in general. And so I do think that there are going to be some things that you need to change direction on or release. And they may be things that you were really attached to or really wanted to see come to fruition, or look a certain way. And so allow yourself that time and that space to grieve it, move through it, transmute it, and move on. There is a lot coming up this month for us around work, working with others, collaborating, being the expert or the leader in something, and working again alongside of others in a very harmonious and collaborative way. This is very divinely driven. So again, a lot of emphasis coming in around relationships, but it feels like work relationships or relationships with people to get something done or to achieve a greater goal. again, in purpose. So pay attention to what comes in for you around relationships, contracts, collaborations, anything like that this month. I think it's going to be really important. Pay attention to it and let it come to you. Like these things that are sort of destined or purpose driven often will fall in our laps. And then it's what we do with those opportunities that of course makes the difference. But if it's really meant for us, it's going to keep coming in, even if it looks a little bit different each time. But a lot coming in this month around work, working with others, collaboration, colleagues, contracts, clients, that sort of thing. So beautiful energy, very, very beautiful. It may again look very different than what you expected it to, but very divinely supported energy here. It will also say there's a lot coming in for fours around solitude, taking time for sort of respite, taking some time to be with yourself and your thoughts. And again, maybe you're grieving something. Maybe you're grieving some kind of a loss or an expectation. That's totally fine. Allow yourself the time and the space to be able to do that. This can be an incredibly intuitive, even psychic time for fours. So during the month of June, so pay very close attention to those hunches that you get, the inspirations, the ideas that again may not make sense to anybody else, but if it makes sense to you and you feel called to follow through with it, do it. There's a lot coming in with this, a lot of deeper energy coming in this month around, again, sort of like getting to the truth of the matter, doing the investigative work, the research, not taking things at face value, but really diving deeper, following that intuition. Even if other people think you're nuts, just go for it. A lot here potentially around health. So you could see things come to the surface around your health that need your attention. This is a great month for getting checkups, for following through. This could be a great time also for getting some kind of solution to a health problem that you've had. Seeing things kind of any potential health issues be alleviated. This is a great month for that as well. Pay attention to your holistic health, body, mind, and spirit. How do you feel spiritually? Do you feel connected? And again, regardless of what you subscribe to or what your beliefs are, do you feel connected, even if it's to your higher self? How do you nurture that connection? How are you working with it? How are you cutting yourself off from it? That sort of thing. Because if we're only connected to ego and to self in that way, we're sort of missing out on a greater expansion, right? And so there is something to be said about just making sure that you feel connected. And that can be like your connection to the earth, to nature, submersing yourself in nature in some way to get reconnected if you feel disconnected. Mental as well, how is your mental health? Are there things coming up that are bringing up past traumas or past experiences that are creating any kind of mental imbalance or anything that's causing you mental anguish or harm? This could be a great month for getting, seeking professional help if need be, to assist with that, to work through that. A lot coming in here around not just physical health, but again, mental and spiritual as well. Just to make sure that, again, you're feeling good on all cylinders are running smoothly and you feel good. I feel like you're going to kind of need June to again, use this as a checkpoint to check in with those energies, make sure you're feeling good, because I do feel like things are going to start really speeding up for fours, especially come July and onwards, and it could be around work. And so this is going to be the time again to really take some time to self-soothe, to do self-care, to nurture, and just make sure that you're holistically feeling good. And if you're not, then this is a great time to check in and find ways to, again, get yourself up to the speed that you want to be, right? Let's see. I think that's all I really want to mention for fours about June. I do think, again, this is going to be important to see past the illusions, see past the maybe the facade of what people are trying to put forth, and do your own research, do your own investigative work, get to the truth of the matter. That may just be your truth, but there's also sort of a more collective truth as well. And so check the facts, check the information, make sure you dig deeper this month. It's going to be really, really, really important. And I would also say if something comes up for you around signing a contract or entering into some kind of agreement, whether that's getting married or adopting or starting a new career, becoming a contract worker, whatever, just read the finer print. Make sure that, again, you're doing the research, you're doing yourself enough that you're not doing yourself a disservice in just blindly following whatever is put before you as the truth, if that makes sense. So, so interesting energies coming up for us, but definitely a lot coming in around work. And now if you're somebody who doesn't need to work or doesn't work or is retired or whatever, there could be a lot coming in here around like philanthropy or volunteer work, getting yourself into the community in a way that makes you feel really good, right? So not out of a sense of obligation, but out of a sense of, gee, I want to do more of this because this makes me feel really good. And I feel like I have a purpose in the community, or I have a purpose in whatever this is, and I can make an impact. So I'm going to invest some of my time and energy into whatever this is. So that could come in very strongly for fours as well, especially, like I said, if you don't need to work, even if you do need to work, volunteer work is always, or philanthropy, or donating to a charity, whatever comes up for you, is always aligned with something higher and much more purposeful outside of ourselves. So that could be coming in as well. And that can also have healing properties associated with it as well, giving of our time, our energy for something greater than us, right? So I hope it's a beautiful month for you all fours. Like I said, I'm right here with you. So I hope it's a great month and brings us a lot of joy. And like I said, just don't neglect yourself this month. Make sure you take time for self-care, for solitude, for reconnecting to nature, for reconnecting to people who support you where you feel supported. The universe, life will throw us the lessons and the people that we need to experience that are not necessarily aligned with who we are or where we want to go, but that bring the challenges and whatnot for us to overcome and to learn from. So we get to choose to surround ourselves with people who do support us and who bring us joy and happiness and peace. So definitely pay attention to that and pay attention to who it is that you're surrounding yourself with. And do you feel good around these people and how they're contributing to your experience and vice versa. So anyway, hopefully that's helpful. Thank you all so much for listening. Take care, fours. Bye for now.